Good morning, Early College High School. I'm Nathan Hill,
And I'm Lance Sparrow.
and these are your morning announcements.
The source of strength for the month of November is spirituality. This strength is all about strengthening your soul. It could include praying, meditating, or even spending time in nature. This is important to practice gratitude since we are approaching the holiday Thanksgiving.
Awesome. All right. So the people in Mr. Stoltz's advisory, listen. If you get at least a 530 on the math SAT, we can bedazzle Mr. Haas's head. And this has been approved by Mr. Haas, all right?
That's
So get at least a 530 on your math SAT.
We could bedazzle his head.
Bald head.
Wow. Appreciate that one, Mr. Haas. And we have a little bit of morning motivation. It says, the best view comes after the hardest climb. I want y'all to think about that as y'all go through y'all's day and push through that adversity in the school work. I know it can get challenging at times. Have a great day, Owls.
Vaping is a really big issue when it comes to high school.
And today we're going to talk to Claiborne and Nurse Jones about the health consequences and legal consequences. Right.
And even though it might sound cliche and you've heard it many times, this is really important for students from early college to understand and know.
My name is Elva Renteria, and we're interviewing,
Taylor Serta.
and we're going to ask her a few questions about vaping. Here's your first one. What are the immediate health risks of vaping for teenagers?
So the nicotine that are found in the vapes have, they cause vasoconstrictive, which basically means that those vessels in your lung that transport oxygen and nutrients in your body get narrowed, and so they can't pass on those nutrients like they need to. Another side effect is a pneumothorax. It means that your lung is not fully expanding like it needs to, and so oxygen's not getting exchanged in your lungs.
Why are teenagers more vulnerable to addiction than adults?
Peer pressure is a big one. If you see your friends doing it, you're more likely to do it, and then the neurons in your brain aren't fully developed, and so you're at an increased risk for addictions.
What chemicals are found in vape liquids, and what impact do they have on the lungs?
So there's lots of chemicals that are found in vapes. Some of them, I can't even try to pronounce some of them. The biggest one is nicotine, and that's what causes a lot of the side effects. But there's several chemicals in there that can cause damage to your lungs, to your body, your throat, things like that. They put in those flavors in those vapes so that you can't taste the nicotine and you think it's all good and healthy because it's all fruity, but in reality it's just covering up those nicotine, so it's making it more addictive.
Last question. What are long-term health risks of starting vaping in high school?
You're at an increased risk for cancer. The earlier you're introduced to the nicotine while your body is still developing can increase the risk of cancer, along with hypertension and diabetes. When you're having that nicotine and it's constricting those vessels, it's increasing those diseases for long term.
Well, that's it. Thank you so much for being in our interview.
Absolutely.
Good morning, my name is Josue Perdomo and I'm from the Nest, and today we're here with Officer Claiborne, and we're going to be asking you some questions about the consequences of getting caught vaping in school. So to start off, what are the legal consequences of minors caught vaping in schools?
There's consequences you have getting charges, legal charges, where you have to deal with courts. If you're underage, you also have the thing of being on probation, having to pay fees and stuff like that.
I guess past experience, I feel like teenagers or high schoolers think that it's not a big deal if you get caught, but like, why is it something that we should emphasize to them that it is a big deal, not only like in a healthy way, but
well, with the how not healthy it is, like I said, it's a lot of legal ramifications that come with vaping. As a minor, you get charges, you can potentially end up in jail, you can end up with a record, you have to come out paying fees and fines and things like that. This money that comes out of you or your parents' pockets. You get a record. You have some kids that have never done anything wrong. Now you have a criminal record that can cause you from going to colleges and stop you from getting into colleges and getting jobs and things like that. So as important as people don't think it's a big deal. There are many ramifications to doing it that you have to deal with the consequences of.
And is this something that happens like the first time you get caught, or is it something that like the consequences progress as you get, or you do it multiple times?
It's the first time. The very first time you get caught, depending on what type of vape you're caught with, you get those charges from day one. And it sounds bad, but you do. I mean, you have to do everyone the same. So, you know, if you do it the first time or it's your 12th time, you still get those same exact charges, so you still have the same exact consequences. Just a way to keep people from, it's a way of a deterrent to keep people from not wanting to do it.
Okay. And then you mentioned something about depending on what type the vape is. Can you explain a little bit more about that?
You have nicotine vapes and then THC vapes. So your nicotine vapes are sort of like cigarettes, just tobacco based. It's like smoking a cigarette. So that's why they really call electronic cigarettes. And then you have your THC vapes, which are your marijuana vapes. Now they don't have marijuana actually in them, but they have the oils from marijuana in it. So it gives you the same feeling as if you were actually smoking marijuana.
What role does law enforcement play in like trying to educate schools and especially teenagers?
We try to get out and get with the schools and the kids and try to emphasize the more so the consequences of vaping, especially being caught in vaping on campus. It's a bigger consequence. You know, we know we can't stop everybody. You know, we can't persuade everybody, but you know, if we can save a couple of kids from getting in trouble, I mean, I think we've done our job there. I mean, because everybody's not going to stop doing it. There are people they're just not going to stop doing it. So, you know, if we get a couple of kids at least think about doing it before they do it, then I think we've done our job then.
Yeah, and on that note, if there's anybody who's like struggling with, I guess you could say, it could become a type of addiction, right?
Yes.
If there's somebody out there that's struggling with that, what are some steps that he or she could take to stop?
Well, first thing, they need to notify their parents, let their parents know there's a problem. That way, because it might be just something at home that's causing them to do that. They might be having family problems at home, and talking to the parents, letting them know that what their problem is, that might help fix it. You know, counseling, talking to a counselor, going to therapy, things like that. Talking to your school counselor, talking to your school principal, your school administrators, stuff like that. Just whatever you need to help break that addiction. You just have to have to talk to somebody. Not saying nothing will never fix the problem.
Yeah, that's true. So then overall, I guess the importance of like not vaping, not only does it harm your like health, but it also can affect like the rest of your, I guess you could say life, because if you don't go to school, then you can't get a career and stuff like that. So thank you very much for like doing this with us and letting us know the consequences of vaping. So.
Please stand for the pledges. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Now for the Texas pledge. Honor the Texas flag. I pledge allegiance to thee, Texas, one state, under God, one and indivisible. Please remain standing for a moment of silence. Thank you. You may be seated.